Hi there, Canyon owners. Today in your 2019 GMC Canyon, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Westin's Traxx Nerf Bars. These are available in either black or stainless steel. Nerf Bars will allow you to easily get in and out of your vehicle. They provide an extra step so you don't have to step up so high to get in. This is particularly useful for people with mobility issues, children, or someone who just has a really high lifted truck that could use that extra step. And if you have any roof-mounted accessories, it's also great for accessing those easier than you would before. Each door has its own step pad with a textured surface to provide traction. The Westin logo is also raised for traction in the middle. The Nerf bar and brackets are constructed of steel, so it's going to be a strong, durable construction that's going to last a long time. The only part that may need maintenance is the step pads here, as they are a plastic compound, but we have replacement pads here at etrailer.com. And I'm not saying that they're going to wear out anytime soon, but you may 5 to 10 years down the road have one of these that is cracked or busted up. When they're outside, the change in temperature and UV rays that hit it does cause it to become more brittle than it was when it was new. The polymer is made of a UV resistant compound, so it does minimize the effects that the sun has on it. The brackets are covered, so it blends in seamlessly to your Canyon. It's a quick, no-drill installation. All the hardware you need to get them installed comes included. Let's go over that together so you can have the confidence to do it at home. We'll begin our installation on the driver's side underneath the vehicle. There are some grommets we're going to need to remove at the front, rear, and in the middle to get our brackets mounted up. These are the grommets that you're looking at. They'll have a small hole next to them. We're just going to use our flat-bladed screwdriver to pop them out. We want the one on the bottom as well as the one on the side. Once you've got these popped out, we'll take the U-shaped nuts that come in our kit and we're going to slide them in the large hole, lining up the nut end here into the small hole. We're going to do the same thing on this one. And then we're going to repeat that for the front and rear bracket. Your front bracket's going to be at this location here. You'll see there's a piece of bent metal right here. This is at the front of the vehicle. You look a little bit further forward, you'll see the bolts sticking through here on the bottom, so you can just follow those back to that grommet. We're then going to head back to the rear, and you can see here where the body curves up right there. So these are pretty much the two rearmost grommets you're going to see. If you're trying to figure out the exact location of the middle one, because there are a couple different spots where there are grommets in the middle, we're right behind the transfer case. There's actually a cross beam there that runs out, and it lines up pretty well with where these are that we need to take out here in the middle. Another thing to keep in mind is that this middle bracket is going to be slightly offset towards the front. So these should be closer to the front grommets that you took out than it would be to the rear ones. We can now start putting our brackets in place. We're going to take the smaller hex head bolts that come in our kit, that is the brass color here, put a lock washer on it, followed by a flat washer. We'll then take our brackets, we're going to hold them up to those nuts that we had inserted. The curved end here faces towards the outside. It's what our Nerf bar is going to attach to. And we're just going to take that hardware we pre-assembled there and thread it in to the nut that we put in. We're then going to do the same thing with the other hole on the side there. Get our hardware. And the hardest part really about this is just lining it all up. It can be a little difficult to kind of see what you're doing at the same time. We want these to be loose, so once we got them both started, we're just going to go down about hand tight, because we want to be able to wiggle it around to line up with our Nerf bar. You can then take the plastic cover that comes in your kit. The notch here in the middle is going to slide over our bracket like that, and then we'll turn it up. And then the holes in our bracket at the bottom here should line up. We should have one there and then one there. This is going to use the smaller black hex head bolts. We're going to put a flat washer on it. I'm going to pass it from the front towards the rear. And on the other side, we're going to take another flat washer, place it on it, then put on a nylon locking nut. We're going to do the same thing for the other hole located over there. Once you've got this hardware loosely installed, you're going to repeat this exact same process 2 more times for the front and the rear bracket. As we're doing our middle now, it doesn't really matter which one you start at, as they all install basically the same. Now that we've got all 3 brackets loosely installed, we'll want to prepare our hardware and then get our Nerf bar installed. The Nerf bar hardware is going to be the button head bolts that come in your kit. We'll place a star washer on it, followed by a flat washer. And this will all be black hardware. We can then lift our Nerf bar into position, lining up the holes in the bottom of the bar with the holes in our bracket. We're then going to loosely install our bolts that we prepared into the bottom of the Nerf bar. There is 2 per bracket. We can now go back and tighten down our hardware. We're going to start by tightening down the brackets. We'll use a 13mm socket to do so. On the back side here, you will probably need to use a wrench to tighten these down. Once we finish tightening down all 3 brackets, we'll move on to the Nerf bar bolts. Now we got all of our brackets tight, you'll notice that our bar here, it does have a little bit of a swivel to it. So we want to try to set it up to where it's level. So we're just going to kind of move it back and forth a little bit until we get a nice level spot. This is why we left it loose here. And that looks pretty good right there. So we can go back and use the included Allen key to tighten down the bolts here on the bottom. We can then go back and tighten down the bracket covers. We're going to use a 10mm socket and wrench to do so. For the inner ones, you may need to use 2 10mm wrenches to get your tools in there. We can then go back and torque all of our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. And that completes our installation of Westin's Traxx Nerf Bars on our 2019 GMC Canyon.